What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, MLB DFS video. It is Tuesday. It is August 22nd, and we are back bringing you an informative video. Now, I want to thank everyone yesterday. Yesterday's video was one of our top videos, especially on a Monday. It's been our best Monday video ever, just with the views. Over 800 views, over 100 likes, so you know what that means. If you've never been here before, you're in for a treat. Hopefully, we break it down. We go through everything. We go through all of the pitching. We go through the bats. We look at their splits. We look at the prior games the pitchers have had, and we look at the bats as well on top of that. So, over 100 likes on the video. Someone is going to win a free month. How do you do that, you say? If you've never been here before, just be a subscriber to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment. What we do is we take any video that gets at least 50 likes, we take that video and we throw it into the YouTube random comment picker. We randomize it, and the winner will be chosen randomly, and you can win multiple times. There's been multiple people win multiple times. You can win, if it's over 50 views, you have a chance to win a free week of DFS content. If it's over 100 views, you have a chance to win a free month, which is exactly what we're doing right now. If it 125 views or 125 likes, a chance to win a yearly pass, and 150 likes on a video is a chance to win a lifetime pass, brought to you by FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So we are going to see who the winner is right here, and then we'll dig into everything else. So the winner of the free month is Calvin Dunn. His comment, I have also left Stoktastic since I found you. Love the content and the breakdowns. Thank you. Now let's get some bacon. Thank you, Calvin. You've been here every single day for as long as I can remember. You are winning the free month. Congratulations. All you got to do is like the video. Tell me you saw this, and there's two ways. Send me, if you don't already have an account on the site, some people do, some people don't. You can either tweet at me at advisors_team with a username and email that you would like to use, or you can hit me up on email, dfshelp1@gmail.com with your preferred username and email that you would like to use. So congratulations, and for everyone who hasn't won, you have a chance every single day. All you have to do is leave a comment. It randomly picks a winner every single day that would get at least 50 likes. So that is awesome. Ways to support the channel, or just us in general, I should say. Fantasy Team Advisors is the website. You can check that out multiple ways. You can check that out by just going to the channel and looking at the articles that we put in there. The links are in the description of the video. Clicking on the ads on that helps. If you go ahead and you like these videos, you watch the ads on these videos, they do help a lot. Sharing helps a lot as well. We've had people super thank us. $1.99 super thanks here on YouTube. We've had people donate or give tips. Our CashApp is down below. We also have PayPal and Venmo if you guys are interested. We have subscriptions. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com FTA Plus, $24.99 for a month, which includes MLB, MMA, NASCAR, NFL, PGA, and will be NBA when that is back. That'll be there. If you use a yearly pass, use the promo code NFL VIP. You're going to get $100 off right now until the start of the NFL season, and then that goes away. Then you'll get it for $99. It's $100 off, normally $199. So that being said, we're going to dig into this. So we're going to go through everything. If you stick around towards the end of the video, we're going to give you, we have a AI simulations. So we run 10,000 simulations throughout the day. It takes into effect ballpark factors, weather. It takes into effect lineups. It takes into effect historical data such as BVP, splits. It takes into effect everything. And we do 10,000 simulations, and it shows us the top. It shows us in order and projections for Fanduel and DraftKings for both batters and hitters, or batters and pitchers. Towards the end of the video, we will go over the top 10 pitchers and top 10 bats through 2,000 simulations. So that being said, let's just jump right into it. Just like yesterday, we have a couple of early games. So in this instance, we have 3 early games, or turbo slate, whichever you want to call it on DraftKings, with 3 games instead of 2 like we had yesterday. But we have a full slate of games here. We did lose a game with. This is one where we kind of got to watch the Southern California weather. Games could be postponed or canceled. So we'll go through them. But if there are any games scheduled for Southern California, they might not play due to the hurricane that went through, or currently going through with the weather and the flooding that is happening. So definitely something to pay attention to there. But we're going to jump right into it now. We've got the Chicago Cubs at the Detroit Tigers. We've got Drew Smyly versus Reese Olson. Reese Olson's never faced them before. Smiley's only faced 17. Smiley's been around so long, but he's only faced 17 of these batters because this team is so new there. So we kind of look at this. Look at Drew Smyly here. He's 8,300 on DraftKings. Looking here, 8,300 is kind of a lot for someone at 5 ERA, 9.8 record, 112 Ks. Game log wise, he's not been very good. He's only gone 1 inning. He is scheduled to start. So he's been in the bullpen since about August 7th was his last start. So he's been in the bullpen since then. Now he's coming in for a start. Whether or not, I don't know what to think. He hasn't gone over 1 inning in 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks. I'm a little bit weary on this one, especially against Detroit. Detroit's been hitting. And we're going to go over that. We're going to look at the players that hit lefties well. Whether or not he's going to be in there very long, I don't know. It's looking at... he's got a 4.92 ERA in the starts that he's had. Does not include the bullpen here because he's got no earned runs in there. So, that being said, I'm probably not using him. I don't trust him. Don't know how long he's going to go into the game. Then you got Reese Olson, which he's an intriguing option. 2-5 record, 4.83 ERA. Yes, is coming off a bad game against Minnesota, but prior to that had a fantastic game against Minnesota. 30.5 fantasy points there. Hasn't faced the Cubs, obviously, ever. Pitching at home, where he has a 4.78 ERA, so it's a little better ERA than on the road, but not much. So I'm thinking in this game, we're probably looking at the bats more than we're looking at pitching. So we'll take a look. Let's take a look at the Chicago bats who have had success against right-handed pitching. And this is what I like. So this is what I'll tell you. This is on the website, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Come down to here. Go to batter splits. Completely free for you guys. Go check it out, but we are going to go over it. The more green you see, obviously, the better you would like to see. So Cody Bellinger jumps out to me. 323 batting average against righties. I'm looking at that. You got Tauchman and Happ both have green here. They're walking. They've had a ton of plate appearances there. Chris Morel, I don't mind. I mean, you can see not a ton of red there. Does have red. He will strike out. He will not walk that much against righties, but he's got a lot of green elsewhere. Dansby Swanson's been absolutely on fire for us this year. I would look at him. There's not too many bats in this Cubs lineup that I don't mind in this situation. So probably not leaning towards bats or pitching in this one. I'm probably leaning towards bats in this game. So then we can take a look at, now we don't know how many innings, if it's going to be more than one, so this might be a little bit skewed, but we'll kind of see how Detroit has been against lefties. Whether or not it's going to be a long time, I don't know. We've been using Spencer Torkelson. Torque has been really good for us the past, I want to say 5 games we've used. He's either homered or got on base and got positive fantasy points for us. I probably wouldn't use Miggy. Probably wouldn't use Baez. I know he finally did something on Monday, but I wouldn't use him. I probably wouldn't use Jake Rogers. Yeah, I mean, normally, most likely, if I'm not like stacking the Tigers, I would look at Torkelson and I would look at Riley Green here. Riley Green has a 4.53 BABIP against lefties. Now, let's say Smyly comes in, goes 1 inning, then we get a righty. It's going to be a different story. We just don't know. That's what I don't like about the opener situation that we find ourselves in pretty much every single day. So looking at that, I'm not looking at the pitching. I am looking at bats on both sides. Next game, Rockies at Tampa Bay. Ty Block versus Zach Littell. I'm not using Block or Black or Blatch. I'm not using him. He went 5 innings against Arizona, 6.5. He went 6 innings against the Dodgers, 11.9. Don't trust him, especially in Tampa Bay splits-wise. Hasn't faced Tampa Bay, obviously. Never faced any of them before. He's pitching on the road, which he's only started 3 games, has a 4.59 ERA. I would probably be looking at stacking the Tampa Bay Rays here. Then you got Zach Littell. Littell against Colorado. Game logs, I don't mind him actually. At 7,000 against Colorado, I'm okay with that. Game logs, he's done okay. He is the most expensive he's been all year. Got to get at least 5 innings, obviously. Splits-wise, hasn't faced Colorado. Pitching at home. He is actually worse at home, but he's only started 2 games at home. So that, I don't know. The problem is there's not a ton of good options for pitching here, so you got to find the one you want. I mean, you have to have 2 pitchers here. So it'd be really, honestly, in this situation, I wouldn't use Block. Harrison's making his debut. Yeah. I don't know. Harrison here, I'm very confused. 6,200, making his debut. I'll take exposure to him just because he's making his debut, but that could always come back and bite us. You never know what's going to happen with that. So kind of just looking at this, let's look at Tampa Bay against left-handed pitching. If we were not going with Block and we're using the left-handed or pitcher or batters here, Harold Ramirez I would look at Randy Arozarena. I would look at, well, we can let's just strike him out here. RIP for being an idiot. I would use Yandy Diaz. I would use Isaac Paredes here. Those are the ones that I would use. Just depend, maybe Jose Siri a little bit. Just really depends on what you feel comfortable with. That's kind of where I'm at in this situation. Then if you're looking at Colorado bats against Littell, which is a righty, kind of look at Elias Diaz. I don't mind. A lot of green out of Ryan McMahon and Nolan Jones. I don't mind there. Charlie Blackmon is back. I don't mind him there either. Those would be the ones I'd probably look at. So McMahon, Jones, Blackmon, Diaz, maybe a little bit there. I don't like really either pitcher, though. That's the thing. Then we got the Giants at the Phillies. You got Kyle Harrison making his major league debut. He has... don't know if he's going to be stretched out. Don't know how long he's going to go. That's the problem. Then you got Walker, 51 plate appearances, 340 batting average. Obviously, I would like this a little bit better if it were in San Francisco. I like that pitcher's ballpark there. But Harrison at 60, I don't know why he's 6,200 making his debut. But he is up here. I'll use him in some capacity. Taijuan Walker here, game logs. He's been not the best. He's 9,500 now. Honestly, I don't know if I'll play this early slate. Completely honest, I don't know if I will. He's faced San Francisco one time, 0.2 innings in that, 4 earned runs. Hasn't had success. I don't like this early slate pitching. I think you go Harrison because no one's seen him before. And then, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. You could, here's a little tip for maybe people that don't know. You could look at how it's going to go, if anyone's going to do anything, remove non-probable starters. Then we could go to Cubs, and you could look at the bullpen for the Cubs. Let's say Drew Smyly only goes 1 or 2 innings. Who is their long relief pitcher? So then you could plug that long relief pitcher in here as a possibility. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but that is definitely something you could look into. It's not always the best strategy. It is a tournament strategy, though. So you could get rid of that. I'm not going to, but that is a strategy you possibly could do. In this situation, I'm looking at, let's just look at the batter splits real quick. So Phillies bats against left-handed pitching. Kyle Schwarber, bat 183. Real Muto I would look at. Alec Boehm hit a home run for us yesterday. I would look at him. I would look at Bryce Harper. Castellanos has a lot of green against lefties. That's what I would look at there. Flip side, right-handed pitching, San Francisco Giants bats against Taijuan Walker, a.k.a. right-handed pitching. Jock Peterson had a home run on Monday. I would look at him. I would look at Wilmer Flores. I would avoid Crawford's on the IL, I believe. Lamont Wade Jr. had a home run on Monday. I would look at him. I would look at Conforto. I would look at J.D. Davis in that situation. Those are the ones that jump out to me. Then you can go to Baseball Savant, look at the games, and then you can see the other players. So the BV or the the splits take into effect any player that's seen at least 60 plate appearances against the opposing handedness of the pitcher. So those are the ones that jump out. Thoughts on that, let me know. But that's the criteria that we've been working on there. So as of this early slate, I really don't like much at all. I'm probably avoiding myself, but you guys might play it, so I wanted to bring that to your attention. Then we get to the beginning of the main slate. Cardinals at the Pirates, Adam Wainwright versus Johan Oviedo. You already know what I'm going to say. Wainwright's all the way down here at the bottom. He is bad. Game logs, I mean, he only gave up 3 earned runs in 6 innings against the Mets, but it was only 7.3 fantasy points. Then he had minus, less than 10. How long has it been since he's had at least 10 fantasy points? It has been since June 17th, over 2 months. It is a wild ride for him. He's had only 3 total starts with that. In that 7.3, he only had 2 strikeouts. You're not looking at him for strikeouts. You're looking at the Pittsburgh Pirates bats that I would look at. And he's seen him a ton, 154 plate appearances. So we're not going to look really at, I want to look at BVP, see if it's spread out between the whole team or how it is. So yeah, Kutch has 94 plate appearances, batting .299 against him, 3 home runs. I would look at him. I would look at Brian Reynolds. I would look at Brian Hayes. I would look at Jack Sawinski, Connor Joe. I would look at literally every single person on this Pirates team against Adam Wainwright, stacking against him. Pirates are going to be one of the most popular stacks on this slate. I can almost guarantee it. He has been so bad. That is where we're at in life. I'm avoiding Wainwright. You're not pitching him. I'm surprised he's 5,200. I'm surprised he's not minimum, but he's not. I'm avoiding Wainwright there. Then we look at Pittsburgh. Oviedo. He's been hit or miss for us when we've used him. We did not use him we did use him against Milwaukee, and he came through for us. We used him against Detroit because it's Detroit. We did not use him against San Diego, and he did go through. But he's been up and down. 6-13 record because Pirates aren't very good. 4.55 ERA. Splits-wise, he's faced St. Louis 1 time this year. 7 innings, 1 earned run, 29.6 fantasy points. That's exactly what we would need out of him. Game logs, I'm curious if that was let's see. It was at St. Louis. Now this is at home. Looking at that, if I'm taking a pitcher here, I'm taking Oviedo. If you're not taking Oviedo, you're not taking Wainwright, and you're looking at bats. We've already gone over the Pirates bats, but the Cardinals bats that I would use would be Edman, Tyler O'Neill, Arenado, Goldie. I would look at. Those would probably be the only bats I'd like, but I'm kind of leaning towards Oviedo a little bit more in this situation. Next game, Blue Jays at the Orioles. You got Yusei Kikuchi versus Grayson Rodriguez. Kikuchi, 141 plate appearances, 281 batting average. Grayson Rodriguez, 40 plate appearances, 194. So looking at this, we can kind of look at their numbers. Kikuchi here, 3.44 ERA, 9-4 record. Game logs, pretty decent against Philly, which is a good hitting team, against Cleveland, which is okay hitting team. Baltimore, he faced them just 3 starts ago. Didn't do too bad. 17.3 at this price, I'm okay with. That was at home. Now it's in Baltimore. But he has faced Baltimore 3 times this year. 15.1 innings, 6 earned runs total, 13 Ks, averaging 13.1 fantasy points per game. I don't know if his price is too high for how they have been hitting. And we'll look at that. I mean, they've got a bunch of switch hitters. We can definitely look at that. Then we look at Grayson Rodriguez. He is a tale of don't know what's going to happen with him. He is down here at 6,100. Good game against San Diego. Okay game against Houston. Didn't do too bad against Toronto. That was out without Bo Bichette, though. Splits-wise, he's faced Toronto twice this year, 10.2 innings, 5 earned runs, 16 fantasy points per game, and a 4.22 ERA against them. I'm probably not on Grayson Rodriguez, but we will definitely look at the split. So we look at Toronto bats against them. Toronto bats against righties. Vlad doesn't have that much green, but I would still look at him, consideration. Whit Merrifield, if he's in there, he's got a 299 average, 343 OBP. I don't mind. Brandon Belt, I'm okay with. On Brandon Belt, he's got a lot of green there. Bo Bichette is back. I would look at Bo. Kiermaier. Chapman, I would look at. Dalton Varsho, probably not. George Springer's in the middle. So those would be the bats that I'd look at against Grayson Rodriguez. And then let's take a look at Baltimore bats against Kikuchi. So ones that jump out, obviously, Ryan Mountcastle, a lot of green. Adley Rutschman, a lot of green there. Those are the two main ones that I'd look at. I would look at Santander, who's a switch hitter, definitely. I would look at Gunnar Henderson. I know he's a lefty on lefty matchup. He's been on fire. I would look at him. Probably, maybe a little bit of Cedric Mullins. Maybe a little bit of Austin Hayes in tournaments, but that's probably it in this one. I'm probably not taking either pitcher. If you want to go contrarian, you could take them, but I don't. There's just other options that I'd be taking in this slate here. Nationals at the Yankees, you got Josiah Gray versus Carlos Rodon. Gray never faced anyone before. He's been bad this year. The Yankees have been bad. Carlos Rodon coming off the IL, whether or not I don't know what we're going to get. Which one are we going to get? The fact that he is still 7,800 is wild to me. 7.33 ERA, 1-4 record, total of 25 strikeouts. Last pitched August 6th and left hurt. 2.2 innings, 5 earned runs. Washington has been putting up runs. I don't trust him enough. I'm not looking at him. But then we look at Josiah Gray. Game logs. Not good against Boston. 3 innings. He's not going deep into games. Splits. The Yankees have lost 8 in a row. They just called up Everson Pereira, and they called up who else they call up? Peraza. And supposedly those guys are going to be everyday players. They're going to be in there. I don't even know if DraftKings has put them in the player pool yet. Okay, so they have. Everson Pereira at 2,000 is going. Yes, he should start. Pereira. Yeah, he should be playing left field. At $2,000, I mean, you could afford everything there. This would be one where this is like a free square. He is facing Josiah Gray. He's getting called up. He should be playing every single day, along with Peraza. I would assume Peraza is going to be the third baseman here. He's 2,800, second or third. You can put him anywhere. Yes, he didn't really do much. He got sent down. Hasn't really had much there. He had a couple, a good game here. Had 4 walks in the game. He could be a cheap option. I think the way we could go about this is you're making multiple lineups. I'm okay with. I would make a Yankee stack here. I would go, obviously, Judge would be one that I would look at. But you look at this. You could have a huge stack with the Yankees with Judge, Pereira, Peraza, and whoever else decides to be in that lineup. And then they get to go up against, and then we can dig in. So just kind of looking. Let's take a look at the Yankees bats against right-handed pitching. Should be better than it is. Don't know which lineup's going to come out. Judge, obviously been really good against righties. IKF has been absolutely on fire. I could look at him. Just got to make sure he's in the lineup. Glaber, two-faced. You don't know what you're going to get out of him. I could look at him. Volpe's been hitting home runs for us. I think he's got like 17 home runs. I would look at him. So, yeah, you could go either way here. Then we take a look at the Washington bats against the lefty. So, just kind of looking, Riley Adams here, ton of green, but only 62 plate appearances. So, it's a little skewed. Candelario obviously has been traded to the Cubs. We've got Lane Thomas I would look at, definitely a lot of green. Stone Garrett I don't mind. CJ Abrams I don't mind. Keibert Ruiz I don't mind there. So that's my thought in this one. Probably not going either pitcher. Probably looking at more of a Yankee stack because we can afford. I mean, they're going to be cheap here. Don't know what we're going to expect. This would be if I make multiple lineups though. Next game, Dodgers at the Guardians. Bobby Miller versus Noah Syndergaard. Syndergaard facing his old team. Let's take a look at Bobby Miller. There he is. Going up against Cleveland. Game logs, had a pretty good game against Milwaukee. Splits-wise, hasn't faced Cleveland this year. He started 7 games on the road, a 2.19 ERA on the road. He's been really good on the road. At 8,600, just looking at his price range there, I like him a little bit more. I like Miller here. for sure. I like him more than Kikuchi, and I probably like him more than Luzardo here as well, and definitely over Giolito. So that would be that. Syndergaard, I really don't want anything to do with Noah. Is he even on here? There he is. Yeah, second lowest priced. Game log, not a good game against Cincy. Did have a good game against Toronto. Splits-wise, hasn't faced LA this year. He's pitching, quote-unquote, at home, which he has pitched twice at this ballpark. Didn't do good the first time against White Sox. Did okay against Toronto. Did really good against Toronto. I don't trust him against LA. Facing his old team, obviously. I don't know if, facing your old team, if they know any tips or tricks against it. Like, they know what you're going to pitch, their thought process. I don't know. Haven't dug into the psychology of that. But we can definitely look at both the Dodgers and the Guardians against right-handed pitching. Cleveland against Bobby Miller. I'm probably not taking anyone, but you can kind of see that Jose Ramirez is obviously an option. Steven Kwan is an option. Andres Jimenez, I don't mind. But yeah, I'm probably avoiding them. Here. And then we could look at, Ahmed Rosario is now on the opposite team, which he's facing. But yeah, probably avoiding Cleveland bats, looking at Dodgers bats against righty. Just depending on who's out there. I mean, Hayward would be a cheap option. JD Martinez, I don't mind. Max Muncy, I don't mind. He's batting .222, and he's got a bunch of green here. 296 ISO. Martinez is a 319 isolated power there. Mookie Betts, obviously, is always a good option for a stack. Freddie Freeman, batting .325 against righties. I'm looking at him, too. I don't mind James Outman, and I don't mind Will Smith if he starts. So, not using Syndergaard, not really using the Cleveland bats. I'd look at Bobby Miller, and I'd look at the Dodgers bats for sure. Mets at the Braves, Tyler Meagle versus Bryce Elder. Meagle, they've faced each other. Meagle's faced him more, but they've seen him. Meagle is the third lowest priced pitcher. Coming off a decent game against Pittsburgh. We actually used him against Pittsburgh. At his price, we did pretty well at 15.9. Did go down 300 because he's going up against the Braves. He's faced the Braves twice this year, 11 innings total pitched, 8 earned runs, 9 runs, 8 of them earned, only 7 Ks, 6.55 ERA. I'm stacking the Braves. We don't need to look at the Braves. We don't need splits at all. You're looking at Olsen. You're looking at Acuna. You're looking at Eddie Rosario. You're looking at even Nicky Lopez is a cheap option because if he gets on, he steals bases for you. You're looking at Michael Harris. I mean, you're looking at every single person on this Braves team. I don't want anything to do with Meagle. I'm probably not even looking at Elder. I'm looking at the Braves bats, and that's all I'm looking at in here. If you want to look at the Mets bats real quick, we can see how the New York Mets have fared against right-handed pitching. Pete Alonso obviously is an option at any given time. His BABIP is very low, though. Lindor, I don't mind. Brandon Nimmo, I don't mind. I would avoid Daniel Vogelbach. Francisco Alvarez, I would look at. I think this game will be a high-scoring game. I like Braves as probably the majority stack, but then I think you could do okay with the Mets as like a secondary stack. Just like yesterday, they put up, double digits yesterday. So I don't mind. I'm not going to use either pitcher, but I will use both offenses in this one. Next game, Red Sox at the Astros, Tanner Houck versus Justin Verlander. Houck's only faced 12 Astros bats, and then Verlander has faced 35 plate appearances, 188. Looking at these numbers, Tanner Houck coming off the IL, hasn't pitched since June 16th against the Yankees. I don't know. Oh, this is where... Yeah, he got hit in the face. Yeah, that's right. He got hit in the face against the Yankees, and he had to have surgery. So he's coming back. I don't know if he's going to... So, yeah, it looks like he will have a workload limitation because he only threw 59 pitches in his last minor league outing. Splits-wise, hasn't faced Houston this year. I'm probably not using him. Houston's good, especially at home. Away games, he's pitching .426. Yeah, I'm probably looking at Astros bats. In the Astros bats, I'd look at Kyle Tucker. I'd look at Yanner Diaz. I would look at Altuve. I would look at, obviously, Yordan, Chas McCormick. Those would be the bats I'd look for the Astros. And then Verlander here, going up against Boston. Game log, we did not use him against Miami his last start. He is so expensive. We did not use him. And it worked out for us because he went 4.7 there. His price is high. Hasn't faced Boston this year. Pitching at home, 2.50 ERA, which this is his home. He's pitched here before. I don't know if I feel confident enough to pay up for him at 9,500. Boston's been playing okay baseball. Probably avoiding Verlander. I just don't trust him. He's been lit up. I mean, he's got 3.37 ERA, 94 strikeouts. So let's look at Boston bats against right-handed pitching. See if there's anyone that stick out. Jarren Duran batting 296. Got a lot of green there. Devers, a lot more green. Justin Turner, I don't mind. Tristan Casas, I'm looking at. Yoshida, I'm looking at as well. So I don't know if I want to pay $9,500 for Verlander. I might look at Boston as a stack. I think this game could be a high-scoring game. I would look at both teams here. I think, obviously, the Astros is a better stack, but Boston could be a contrarian stack today. Mariners at the White Sox. You got Brian Wu versus Mike Clevenger. I thought Wu just went on the IL, didn't he? Wait a minute. Game log. Okay, so he hasn't pitched in a couple of weeks, coming off the IL. Did not have a rehab, so I would fully expect him, because it was a forearm. It was a tight forearm. I fully expect Brian Wu to be on some sort of restriction. So I'm not using him. I don't trust him enough versus Mike Clevenger. So looking at Clevenger, he is towards the bottom too, right? Right here. Clevenger here, game logs. Had a really good game against the Cubs. Even better game than he did against the Yankees. Looking at this, Clev, splits-wise, hasn't faced Seattle. They've been on fire. They didn't, for whatever reason, Julio was out on Monday. I don't know if he's sick. I don't know if he's hurt. I think maybe it was just a day of rest. Looking at that, probably not taking a pitcher in this one. Probably looking at the bats. So both Seattle and Chicago White Sox bats. So let's take a look at how both of these teams have fared against right-handed pitching. So we'll go with Seattle first. Suarez I would look at. Cal Raleigh I would look at. Teoscar Hernandez had a home run yesterday. I would look at him. I would look at Julio if he's in there as well. I don't know if he's going to be, but that's definitely one I'd look at against Clevenger. And then the White Sox bats, I think it's pretty obvious who we'd look at, but I'll let you guys look at it too. Luis Robert, obviously I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Eloy as long as he's in the game. I would look at there. Burgers obviously traded to Miami. I would look at Andrew Vaughn. Those would probably be the ones I'd look at. I don't trust very many other White Sox bats in this situation. So I'm not using either pitcher, though. For sure I'm not. Next game, Twins at the Brewers. You got Bailey Ober versus Wade Miley. Ober, 24 plate appearances. Really haven't seen each other a ton. Wade Miley has a little bit, but I don't trust either of these pitchers. Like, enough. But we'll look at it. Bailey Ober is the third highest priced pitcher. Game log, 15.1. Detroit should have been better against Detroit. Kind of at his price, he didn't really do much against there. And he stayed the same. He has faced Milwaukee once this year, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks, 23.3 fantasy points. It's exactly the kind of outing we would need here. Trying to see if that was in Milwaukee or in Minnesota. That was at home. So now they're playing in Milwaukee where it is a retractable roof. So we definitely could take advantage of that. At $10,200 though, I would pay up for him rather than use Verlander, I guess. And then Wade Miley here. We stacked the Dodgers against him. He only did give up 3 earned runs and only 2 Ks, 3.9 fantasy points. Thought he'd give up more. But yeah, I'm definitely not using him against Minnesota. He's pitching at home where he's got 3.07 ERA. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at Minnesota bats against left-handed pitching. Not a ton of green, I will admit. There's a lot more orange than I thought there would be. Correa's got, I guess, the most amount of green on there. I would look at him. You know what? Looking at this, now I could be completely wrong, but Wade Miley could be a sneaky GPP option at 6,300. I would use him over Grayson Rodriguez at 6,100 for sure. And I would use him at 6,300, 300 less than Clevenger at 66. So I think that could be a sneaky option. Then let's take a look real quick. To be honest with you, we don't really need to. The only Brewers bats that I feel confident about throwing out in lineups, Christian Yelich, Sal Frelick, Willy Adames, and William Contreras are really the only ones I would look at. But I'm probably avoiding Ober in cash, maybe using him in tournaments, and then Wade Miley for sure in tournaments, and then some of the bats we just went over. Reds at the Angels, Graham Ashcraft versus Lucas Giolito. I did the breakdown yesterday, then the game got canceled. I don't know if this game's going to get canceled or postponed due to the weather. I'm not taking Giolito. Graham Ashcraft will be a tournament option for me. The only bats that, like I said, in that game against the Angels, the Angels bats I'd use would be obviously Shohei and then Brandon Drury. Flip side of that, the Reds bats that I'd use against Giolito would be Joey Votto, Ellie De La Cruz, Spencer Steer. There's not a ton. We kind of got to wait for the weather, kind of got to wait for the news. If it doesn't get postponed again, then we'll have that in our cheat sheet and stuff like that with the plays that we do like. But I'm avoiding this game just due to the weather. I don't know how it's going to be. So that's something we got to pay attention to. Kind of got to see how that weather, and it might have already be postponed by the time you watch this video. It really just depends when you watch this video. We got the Royals at the Athletics. You got Angel Zerpa versus to be announced. Zerpa, well, it's got Hogan Harris there. Where's Zerpa? No way he's up here. Or is he going to be an opener and then it's going to be Greinke? So he went he hasn't gone long. 4 innings. Didn't do too bad at 13.6. Splits-wise, hasn't faced Oakland this year. If Zerpa goes 4 or 5 innings, I'm okay with. I don't know if he's going to. Because then DraftKings had... Where'd he go? DraftKings had Greinke here. Now, is he going to come in? So, yeah, looking like Greinke's going to be in here. Zerpa's probably an opener if he plays, and then Greinke's here. And then we're not looking at Greinke. Greinke's been bad. 5.53 ERA, away game, 7.69 ERA on the road. Hasn't faced Oakland this year. Game logs, hasn't pitched. It's been, 2 weeks since he's pitched? 3 weeks since he's pitched. I'm not using him. You wouldn't use him anyway. So it's not going to be Zerpa. It's going to be most likely Greinke for the bulk. And then it looks like, according to DraftKings, it's going to be Hogan Harris. Or he could. So we don't even know if it's going to be Hogan Harris here. The only bats that I would use, so we don't know who's going to be for Oakland. I would use Bobby Witt Jr., MJ Melendez, Michael Massey for Kansas City, depending on who it is. And then if we want to look, so it should be Greinke, right-handed pitching against Oakland. We can kind of see, now it is Oakland. They really don't have anyone, but Ryan Noda has got some green. I mean, a lot of them have red. A lot of red here. Seth Brown, Brent Rooker, Ryan Noda would be the ones that I'd even look at, but I'm probably not even using those. Probably just completely 100% avoiding this game and calling it a day with that. I don't mind that at all. Next game, Rangers at the Diamondbacks. You got John Gray versus Zach Gallen. Gray, 140 plate appearances, 302. So he's seen him a ton. They've hit him pretty well. Gallen, 66 plate appearances against him, 21.2 K percentage, 281 batting average there. Looking at that, we know that, so Gallen's the most expensive, 11,000. Game logs, he's faced San Diego his past 2 starts, been pretty good with it. Has faced Texas once this year, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 6 Ks, 13.1 at 11,000 is not enough fantasy points. And we've been following this And if you saw yesterday's video, if you looked at that, taking like these high-priced pitchers have been getting hit pretty well. And looking at this, it's Texas against Arizona. It's Texas bats. Corey Seager, obviously top of my list. Ton of green. Nate Lowe. Love me Nate Lowe. Jankowski, I don't mind. Jonah Heim, I don't mind. Marcus Semien, I don't mind. Corey Seager is my number one hitter, obviously. Like, these numbers are absolutely ridiculous, what he's doing right now. I would look at Seager. I would look at Lowe. I would look at Duran. I would look at Semien, Jonah Heim there. I think people are going to be on the casual players are going to be on Gallen because he's the most expensive pitcher on the slate. That's the thought process they have. That's what I'm looking at. I'm probably going to, now I could be wrong, but I'm probably going to fade Gallen at that price and go with Texas bats for sure. And then if you want to look, let's just take a look at BVP. Now, I don't really take into effect BVP unless there's like 50 or 60 at-bats against a said player. Like Ketel Marte's at 36 plate appearances, batting .455 with 2 home runs. I'm okay with Christian Walker. I'm okay with. They've seen him enough for me to like. Those would probably be it. Corbin Carroll, obviously. Has he never faced him before? So Corbin Carroll's never faced John Gray before. I'm okay with Corbin Carroll. So the bats that I'd look at here are Ketel Marte, Christian Walker, Corbin Carroll. Those would probably be the ones that I'd look at for Arizona. And then, so I'm not looking at either pitcher. I'm looking at this as a higher scoring game. Kind of like the Seattle game from Monday. Then you got the Marlins at the Padres. You got the Battle of the Lefties. You got the Jesus Lizard versus Blake Snellzilla. Lizardo, 48 plate appearances, 302 batting average. Snell, 73 plate appearances, 290 batting average there. Looking at this, Snell is the second highest priced pitcher. He was scheduled to pitch on Monday, according to DraftKings. For whatever reason, it got moved back. Not too bad. I mean, like I said yesterday, he's given up 3 earned runs a couple of times, and that's basically it. But the problem is Miami has been hitting lefties quite well. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at Miami. Nick Fortes, a lot of green. 61 plate, 375. John Birdie, 340. You got Luis Arraez, 336. You got Garrett Cooper's no longer on the team at 348. But he did get traded to San Diego, and he is also facing a lefty here. So he is also in the running here. So that's what I'm talking about. That's why we're breaking it down and trying to show you. You might not think about that, but that is where we're at on this situation. Then Brian De La Cruz, I'm okay with. Those would be the ones that I'd look at there. And then, like I said, flip side, San Diego bats against a lefty. Machado batting 337 against lefties. You've got Tatis batting 286. You got Kim, who just had a massive grand slam on Monday, batting 318. I would use him. I would use even Juan Soto, lefty and lefty matchup. I don't care there. Those would be the one. Bogarts a little bit too. Bogarts is actually kind of cheap on both websites too. So Gary Sanchez, he's swinger, boomer bust there. He's a home run pick or not, but wouldn't be surprised if he hits a home run. That's what I'd look at. So I'd look at Machado, Sanchez, Tatis, Kim, Bogarts in this situation, and then the Miami bats that we just talked about. And that's it. That's the breakdown. Those are all. I thought there was another game. Those are all of the pitchers. Those are all of the bats on the slate that we look at. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And now we are going to go over the top 10 bats and pitchers through 2,000 simulations on FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So get ready. Here we go. Number 1 is Ronald Acuna. Number 2 is Mookie Betts. Number 3 is Austin Riley. Number 4 is Aaron Judge. 5 is Francisco Lindor. 6 is Matt Olson. 7 is Brandon Nimmo. 8 is Michael Harris II. 9 is Freddie Freeman. And 10 is Max Muncy. So just looking at this, obviously in the top 10, it's 4 Atlanta bats, 3 Dodgers bats, 2 Mets bats, and a New York Yankees bat in Aaron Judge. So those are the top 10. They should and probably will change, probably even by the time you watch this video, but when we do 10,000 simulations, it will change. And then pitchers so far that it likes. Now, these will change for sure. Just looking at them, they will change a little bit. But it has Blake Snell against San Diego. It has Carlos Rodon against the Nats. I don't know if I like that one. It has Brian Wu against Chicago, but he probably is going to be on a pitch count coming back off the IL, so that's something to look at. It's got Zach Littell against Colorado, Bobby Miller against Cleveland, Reese Olson against the Cubs, Bailey Ober versus Milwaukee, Johan Oviedo versus St. Louis, and Justin Verlander versus Boston Red Sox. So there you go. Those are the top bats and the top pitching through the 2,000 simulations. Hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully you brought home the bacon. In the description, I forgot, we have an NFL fantasy football league, weekly league on DraftKings, $10 a week to get in, 200 total spots. We will run it. If we get 200 spots, all that will equal the breakdown. It's top 5. If we get all of them, it's the top 5 get paid out, and top prize every single week would be $580. So you can turn $10 into $580. All you got to do is join it. It'll be a weekly league. The link is down below. So is our Discord link down below as well. And that's what I've got for you in this video. So good luck on this slate, on this Tuesday slate. We will be back Wednesday, and hopefully you kick some ass. So let's bring home some bacon today, guys. Peace.